don't know why, but every time that theme plays, I know I'm in the background just kind of.
And I see you, and I'm doing the same thing, so it's really funny.
I don't know what it is. I love that theme song. But
do too.
guys, it's another Wednesday, another episode of the Paranormal Unveiled podcast with myself and my co-host Gwen Johns. So I think tonight we have an amazing show lined up. I've been trying to book this guy for a little bit, and logistics just kept it from happening. And you know, I am a huge fan of his. So for me, this is like a really cool show to do, because he's written over 20 books. He's written 20 books, 21 coming up. I own 12 of them, so I'm slacking. I need to get the rest of them. But let me tell you, this guy is a wealth of knowledge, especially when it comes to the history within Massachusetts and Salem and, you know, the Fall River area. Like, this dude, he knows his stuff.
Yes.
I would call him a historian / author for me, because realistically, you can't write the books without knowing the history.
You're right.
And that's how I would look at it. Hey, Litriana, how are you? So without further ado, because I know he's not feeling the greatest, but he is still willing to come on and power through this show for the next hour. So fans, people out there watching the show, please be appreciative, because I know I am. But let's welcome on our guest this week. Welcome to the Paranormal Unveiled family, Mr. Sam Baltrusis.
Hey guys, how's it going?
It's going well, Sam. I apologize that you're not feeling well, brother, but I tell you, I appreciate you still trying to power through this hour for us.
Yes. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I went home for the holidays. So I'm originally from Pensacola, Florida, and my little niece got me sick, and so I've been sick for about 2 weeks now.
and I think we were talking about, you said something about RSV, right?
Yeah, so that's the diagnosis, and so it's basically just like you treat it with over-the-counter medication, so you really can't. It's viral, so you can't take medicine for it per se. So you just kind of got to sleep and pray for the best.
You know, RSV is horrible. I remember at one point going through my son's school, there was several cases of this thing called hand, foot, and mouth.
Yeah.
Which I had never heard of before. And then when I looked it up, I'm like, that sounds terrible.
It is.
I hope I don't catch this.
Yeah, I don't want that either.
And then a week later, I got COVID.
Oh no.
And you know, sometimes this is how it goes. Hey Morgan, hey Jeremy, I see y'all down there in the chat. I saw you too, Derek Fetters. But yeah, no. So I am super excited to have you on, because let me tell you, I have been a fan of yours for quite some time. I've met you multiple times. I think the first time I met you was at the Salem Paracon 2 years ago. Not Mass Paracon. Don't get that confused. We're going to talk about the Mass Paracon as well. But the Salem Paracon down there at the Salem State University, and I think you were guest speaking with James and Nito at that point, doing a thing on puckwudgies.
Oh.
Yeah, well, yeah, Monsters of the Paranormal. Yeah, our we actually toured all over the country with that, and that was sort of like the last lecture. We did one in Michigan as well, but it was sort of the idea. It wasn't just puckwudgies. It was sort of the idea of other monsters, so interdimensional, like the Hat Man, thought form egregores, that kind of thing. So it was sort of an amalgam of multiple monsters, and I'm using air quotes for that we encountered for years.
Yeah, I think for me, I zoned in on the puckwudgies because I find them so fascinating.
Yeah. I mean,
go ahead.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, puckwudgies are definitely. I actually have never seen a puckwudgie, but I have had experiences that would probably be puckwudgie related encounters. I do think that you don't have to actually see them. You can actually they can take other forms as well. And so I recently, when I was talking to James and actually talking to someone that specializes in fairies and elementals, they talked about, so James and I had an experience in the Freetown State Forest. We were walking through the forest, and we were kind of being firebombed by these large, what seemed like insects that were kind of like bombing us. And the thing is, actually, puckwudgies I have, according to legend and folklore, have taken the form of bugs or like locusts.
Correct.
So they're trying to like protect their land, and we were coming up on their land. And that was the beginning of a series of things that happened to us at the Freetown State Forest, and that's in the Bridgewater Triangle. And so I'm actually thinking that I may have had a Pukwudgie sighting and didn't realize it.
Right, and the Bridgewater Triangle, it's got a lot of phenomena that happen within it. You got UFO sightings, you got cryptid sightings, you got ghostly lore, you got the Pukwudgie, right? And the Pukwudgie is actually very similar to an Algonquin legend called the Memegwese. And so, it's kind of weird how you have two different types of Native American that have a similar creature, right? I mean, something's going on there.
Yeah, so I mean, I do think that I think that they do exist, and I do think that they're Native American spirits. The word Pukwudgie, that's sort of up for debate. My friend Andy, who is more of a historian, he's kind of a skeptic when it comes to Pukwudgies, said that the word Pukwudgie has been appropriated, so it's been taken. So it's actually been kind of like it's a modern word used to call these little creatures,
right,
which are usually about this big, kind of like little gremlins, and they're mischievous. They'll spit at you, or they'll throw like darts at you.
Right, like little poisonous dart things.
Yeah, like little troublemakers.
You know what? And I love your description of gremlins, because I've heard some people describe them as gnomes, and let me tell you, gnomes terrify me.
He is scared to death.
I am not afraid of much, but gnomes can go F themselves. I don't like them.
Yeah, like getting back to my friend Andy, I've actually never had a gnome sighting, but I have friends who have, and he writes, his books are more like based on folklore, but people have experienced gnomes, and they actually they've encountered gnomes out like as a paranormal experience, and I'm like, really? I had a fairy sighting recently in Connecticut, and I'm like, fairies aren't real. Like, that's crazy. I mean, of course I believe in ghosts, but the idea of encountering a fairy is not possible in my mind but now that has changed. And so we were in an abandoned fairy village in Connecticut. My friend Andy, who's British, she's like, Sam, let's go to the fairy village. I'm like, okay, Andy. And so we go to the fairy village. It's in the middle of the woods in Connecticut. I go in. According to him, there's a throne there that has, if you sit on the throne, you'll die in 7 years. And Andy's like, let's go to the throne. I'm like, Andy, I'm not going to the throne. So I see, he pointed out it's this whole abandoned fairy village in the middle of the woods. It's creepy as heck. And he's heading up to the throne, and I see these little tunnels where the fairies supposedly would travel. They would travel. So it was like a traveling tunnel. I looked down and I saw a ball of light with a little fairy in it. And it went into the tunnel. I'm like, Andy, oh my God, there's a fairy. And I said, there's a freaking fairy.
That is crazy. And yes, Todd, do not get gremlins wet. Nor do you feed them after midnight. But no, that's so.
Pukwudgies wet though. I think that they're fine getting wet. I think I'm not sure.
I think you would make them madder than they already are. Actually,
well, technically, they're not mad. If you go back to the folklore, they feel like some kind of human wronged them, and so therefore they're more mischievous than harmful. But if I'm not mistaken,
yeah, I mean, so Pukwudgies are neither good nor bad. I feel like that they've been demonized through folklore. There was a whole idea that they were helpers, and they would help the Native Americans in New England and throughout the country, really, because there are other locations throughout the country that have similar creatures like Pukwudgies, and they've been demonized by the white man. Like the Christians have demonized Pukwudgies, and they called them like Satan's imps, and they were supposed, there was like this mill in Massachusetts that employed these little gremlins to like run the mill, and they called them Satan's imps. So I think that they have been demonized by colonists, and they've been turned into monsters.
So let's be honest. What didn't the colonists actually demonize? I mean, because of technically like Quakers and the colonists, you demonized Pukwudgies. The witch trials came about.
Yeah.
So, and it's kind of weird how that factors everything into like a religious aspect. And to me, and I want to hear your opinion on this. Transitioning topics here. So for me, I've heard rumors that the witch trials, obviously we all know there were mass hysteria, but a lot of it had something to do with land disputes. Do you buy into that?
I mean, I'm expert level when it comes to Salem witch trials.
Right.
1692, a lot was going on. So yeah, land was definitely an issue. I do feel like that a lot of the girls that were the afflicted girls that accused the 20 innocent men and women who were accused and executed for witchcraft were they were sort of like their parents had a role in it. So I'm actually related to Ann Putnam Jr., who was one of the ultimate mean girls or afflicted girls during the Salem witch trials. Her father, Thomas Putnam, was a constable. So land was what he did, and they had sort of like family feuds when it came to other families that were tied to some of the victims, actually. So
right.
I feel like Ann Putnam Jr. was her father was sort of running the show, and also her mother, Ann Carr Putnam. And so yeah, I mean, I think that land was part of it. There was a lot. They believed the devil was real, and so I think that they thought that what they were doing was the right thing in 1692. However, I do feel like that land was part of it, but also they really thought that they were witches in some cases.
Right, and this is back in the day when they considered spectral evidence as legitimate evidence. Someone could go in and say something, and it could be completely false, and the judge would be no worse to wear.
Right, and so the first case of that, I'm actually writing about that now, was before that, before the Salem witch trials in Portsmouth, Rhode Island, and so I talked to you about. So I'm actually originally from Florida, but I moved up here in the 90s. My ancestors are from this area, and I didn't know that before I moved up here. But we're from Portsmouth, Rhode Island, which is sort of ground zero to my family, and so a lot of even the Salem witch trials. So the family moved to Portsmouth, Rhode Island, and they have ties to a lot of what happened in the Salem witch trials, like including the Ghoul family and the Town family. So there was a lot of pre stuff that happened before that. But Rebecca Briggs Cornell was a case that involved spectral evidence, and that happened. And this is tied to my family, and also ties me to the Borden family as well. And she was allegedly pushed into the fire. Her brother John Briggs said that he had a dream that he saw her being on fire, and he automatically said, "Hey, you know what? That means that her son Thomas Cornell pushed her into the fire, even though her ghost didn't say she actually was pushed into the fire." So that was used to accuse and execute Thomas Cornell of killing his mother. And this is before the Salem witch trials, and this is a precursor to spectral evidence. And so this is one of the first cases of spectral evidence being used. So a dream was used to accuse and execute an innocent person. And then the witch trials, it was a free-for-all with when it comes to accusing people using dreams and ghosts.
For sure it was. I did not know that was a precursor. I knew something about them. I think there's a place called Ipswich, which happened a little bit before the actual witch trials went full blown. If I'm not mistaken by my historical, I could be mistaken. Just saying.
It's Andover, yeah. Well, so I mean, there's a lot of so Salem is not the only location. It was all of New England. There were Connecticut witch trials too. There were 3 innocent women that were accused and executed for witchcraft in Boston before that too. And so the name Cotton Mather is synonymous with the witch trials. However, he actually really wasn't that involved in the Salem witch trials, but he was very much involved in the Boston witch trials, which happened before that.
Interesting. Yeah, because I knew you had ties to the Putnam family. And because me and you had discussed that previously, I knew you had ties to the Putnam family, and you know I have ties to the witch trials as well. Because one of my, I think it's like 8 or 9 greats grandmother, Esther Elwell, was tried and found guilty, and she was actually released because the witch trials ended before she was executed.
Yeah, I mean there were 162 people that were accused, and 20 were executed. One was pressed to death over a 2-day period, and that's Giles Corey.
Giles Corey, yep.
Yeah, and there was a lot of families that were affected. So it wasn't just the ones that were executed; it was also the ones that were imprisoned as well. Because those prisons were horrific. I mean, they put it was subterranean. The water was seeping into the subterranean prison. So it definitely was a very horrid condition. So the fact if your ancestor was actually put in that prison, they were affected the rest of their life. It was a horrible situation.
Oh, for sure. And for anyone out there that wants to know more about the Salem witch trials, Ghost of Salem, Haunted a Witch City. Thank you.
Thanks for the plug.
This was actually the first book of yours I ever bought. That's my baby. That's the one that I wrote. I actually wrote it in 2012, 2013, and it's my bestseller. It still is my bestseller, and I'm really proud of it. Well, I just realized I got to bring this to you. It's not signed. So next event I'll see you at. But
gotta get it signed.
Let me tell you, his storytelling alone, bar none, is amazing.
Thank you.
And that is not me just, shamelessly plugging him and trying to get brownie points here. I'm telling you, like this, the way this guy writes, it's fluid, it flows, and I absolutely loved this book. There was something about I think it's the blue lady in a cemetery or something, or some kind of lady in a cemetery.
Well, I mean, there's a blue lady and there's the lady in white in the cemetery. But the blue lady, so there's a blue lady at Rockefeller's, which is on the corner of Essex and Washington Street.
That's what it was.
And so she screams, and according to legend, she was pregnant. And this is in the early 1800s, and this is according to legend. And she was waiting for her lover to come to say, "Hey, I'm pregnant." She tells him the story. He flips, kills her according to the story, and buries her in the bowels of Rockefeller's, which is on the corner of Essex and Washington Street in Salem. The caveat, she never existed. So, and the thing is, we have photos, we've heard screams, there's all sorts of indications of her spirit haunting that location. So this is a perfect example of an egregore or a thought form manifestation.
Correct.
And we've told that story so many times that we have created her. And I do feel that she is, she's real in a sense that we've made her, and I've seen photos that are terrifying, and you can see the blue dress, you can see the era that she's from. She has like a collar that's indicative of the 1800s, early 1800s. So I strongly believe, especially in Salem and locations where stories are told over and over, and the idea of thought forms and egregores, we can create ghosts.
Oh, absolutely, you can. If so many people concentrate so much energy into one specific ideal, then you absolutely can create a thought form.
Yeah. And
I
Salem has one, definitely, but probably more. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure Salem has more than just one. There's no way it doesn't. So is the white lady the spirit that wanders the old burying point?
Yeah. So I just saw the point that there's a lot of lady in white. So there's lady in whites pretty much every haunted city in the country.
Christie's in Australia, so that's one.
Cool.
I was speaking about the book specific. It's the lady in white at the old burying point, correct?
Yeah. So my first experience with her, I was, and this was chronicled on Haunted USA. So pretty much every experience I had in Salem has turned into a TV show. But this experience I was giving a tour. I was right by the Witch Trials Memorial, which a lot of people think that that's where they were buried, and it's not. It's just the memorial. It's right by the old burying point, which is the Charter Street Cemetery. I saw in the middle of the cemetery, and this is years ago when I was a tour guide in Salem, and I saw a ball of light, and then the ball got bigger and bigger, and then took the shape of a woman, and it was running toward me. And at the time, this is early days of me doing paranormal, I ran. I was terrified. She was running toward me, and I'm like, and they did the recreation of me running. It was so funny because I had my coffee and I was shaking and running and the recreation, Sam, was kind of a nervous breakdown. But yeah, so when I went back, I was brave enough to go back to the spot where I saw this woman wearing colonial garb. She was wearing like a white gown-ish kind of, but it looked colonial. But it was more just a ball of light that took the shape of a woman. And it was right by Mary Corey's grave. And so I'm like, oh, wait a minute, maybe it's Mary Corey. So I did come to that correlation that it's Mary Corey. And that is Giles Corey's second wife and not Martha Corey. And so when I did the TV show, they wanted, because Martha Corey was actually one of the victims of the Salem witch trials, so they changed it to Mary Corey to Martha Corey. And I'm like, no, it was Mary. It was the love of Giles Corey's life. And Giles Corey was a cranky old man when he was executed. But there was a period in his life that he did, his second wife, she was a lovely person in all accounts. So I think it's Mary, and she was trying to tell me something. I'm not sure. And she was heading in the direction, but I also correlated, wait a minute, the direction that she's running to actually is where Giles was executed, where he was pressed to death. So, at the time, I'm like, had this romantic idea, well, her ghost is trying to reconnect with Giles in the afterlife and blah, blah, blah. But
who knows?
I think it's possible. I do believe in these sort of romantic, like ghost stories, the idea that her spirit, because he died in bitterness. I mean, he died
for sure, being
pressed to death, and he's the one that remains mute during the witch trial. So that's why he pressed him to death. And when I say pressed, they stripped him naked, put a board on top of his naked body, put rocks on top of the boards, and according to legend, Giles said, more weight, and because he was so stubborn, and so that's going to leave a psychic imprint on the land. And I do feel like if anyone could get to him in the afterlife, it would be his second wife, Mary.
Oh, for sure. And if I'm not mistaken, Giles Corey was the only person pressed to death during the witch trials.
Yeah, only one pressed to death. And my distant cousin, Ann Putnam Jr., is the one that came up with it. And they came up with the idea of pressing him. She had a dream, and she told her father, and her father told the magistrates.
Interesting. Wow. So the thing that touches me close to home about this book was I actually think after buying this book was the first time that me and Sam ever made contact.
So we've been friends on social media for years, and you had questions about the book, and I tried my best to answer the questions.
Oh, you did great. So the whole thing was my first visit to Salem ever. I found this in the gift shop. I think it might have been a gift shop at the House of Seven Gables. I am not positive, but yeah. I bought the book. And we went over to the old burying point. I have my daughters up here from Florida because they live in Florida. Mm-hmm. And I was taking pictures around the cemetery, the old burying point. And I caught what looked to be a figure in one of the photos. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I really can't explain this. I don't know what the hell is going on.
What, do you feel like it was a woman or was this a figure?
Definitely a woman.
Yeah. I think that's Mary.
I was reading Sam's book, and then I came across the white lady in the old burying point, and I'm like, holy shit. Maybe? I didn't know there was supposed to be something there.
Yeah.
I was just literally taking a candid photo of my daughter because she was like, oh, I'm here in Salem. I'm never going to get to do this again. And there's this, what looks to be a womanly apparition standing in front of a headstone.
Yeah. And I would be curious which headstone, because there is Mary Corey's headstone. And truthfully, from having written about cemeteries and stuff, usually the people that are buried there aren't haunting the cemetery. It's the ones Correct. That would come to visit the cemetery. But I think in this case, I do think it's Mary Corey. But there's other people and other spirits that haunt that cemetery. It's the most visited cemetery in New England, probably in the country. It's one of the top cemeteries that are visited. Sure. So there's a lot of energy there.
What I can do for you, Sam, is I'll find the picture and I'll enhance it a little bit and see if I can figure out exactly what headstone it was in front of.
Yeah.
Because the figure is translucent. I'll even send you the original photo if you'd like.
Yeah.
And so you can have a look at it.
I've seen photos of what look like people wearing period garb, and you can actually full manifestation. So I've seen see-through, and the woman that I saw, she was a see-through apparition. So you could see it was like an outline, and it was all white. I've seen photos of what looked like people wearing colonial garb just walking in the cemetery, and they're not recreation actors. You know, they were actually, I'm assuming, spirits.
Right, right. And so going away from the witch trials now, we're going to kind of switch gears here. You said earlier, you brought up different kind of thought forms and spirits and stuff, and you mentioned the Hat Man. Have you ever had an experience with a Hat Man?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, so my Hat Man experience, and every time I talk about him, something happens. So just, I want to give you a heads up. I don't usually like talking about him on podcasts.
If you don't want to, you don't have to.
No,
Well, I'm going to tell you because you brought it up. But yeah, so it's not the Hat Man in my situation. It's a man wearing a hat. So I was a tour guide in Salem. You mentioned the House of Seven Gables. I actually, I worked for House of Seven Gables for a short bit. I was a tour guide for various other groups throughout over the years in Salem. So I immersed myself in Salem to write my books on Salem. And so I was working the overnight shift at a hotel in downtown Salem, and I'm not going to say which hotel because I actually work for the same group right now.
That's fair.
And so I was working the overnight shift, and and it was just opened up. I go downstairs and I hear a banging noise, and then I run upstairs, and then I saw him in the window of a bookshop that's right next to the hotel, and we connected. He was like, "Can you see me?" I'm like, "Yes, I can see you." And this is telepathically. I communicated with him. And this is the first of many sightings of the man wearing a hat over the years. I saw him before. That was right before my stepfather, Paul, passed away. The second time I saw him was also in Salem. And it was before my biological father passed away. So I'm now thinking that he is not my stalker, if you will, but like a harbinger, like someone warning me that someone's about to pass away, or something bad's about to happen. The last time I saw him, he came through my wall, and I'm like, no, you're not allowed here. He was like kind of coming through. This is the night before a fire happened in my apartment above my apartment. That set off the fire alarms and destroyed all my research, all my furniture. Water was almost knee deep in my apartment. From this fire. So I think he was trying to warn me. And I actually have a photo of him in my apartment just for proof, like, hey, I actually have seen him, and it's the same Hat Man. So yeah, it's definitely, I've had experiences with him.
So some people think they're malevolent. Some people think they're benevolent. Some people think they're just thought forms. Some people think they're something else. Do you have an opinion as to far as what
my biggest opinion is that they're not all the same. So there's like I think that the Hat Man is a thought form. I think that the one that there's a trademark on the name, so you can't actually say Hat Man. Someone actually trademarked a ghost or an entity.
Really?
Yeah. So
That's a thing?
Yeah,
I didn't know that was a thing.
I did not know that was a thing.
You actually put a trademark on the Hat Man. So you can't say Hat Man. You have to say man with a hat. I don't think my man with a hat is not the same one that she trademarked. I think it's actually a family member that wears a hat. So I think it's a person that kind of takes a monstrous form. So I do think you have Hat Man that actually is a person that happens to be wearing a hat, and I think that there is an egregore or sort of like a commutative Hat Man experience that other people experience that is malevolent. So I wouldn't lump him all in the same category. I do think he's an upper echelon shadow figure. So I do think perhaps maybe he's from another dimension. I've heard that before too. My situation, my Hat Man is a harbinger. He's almost like a protector, like someone said, but he looks really scary. So I wish my protector wasn't so scary, but yeah, he's my harbinger.
That's
Sam, does he have like a fedora type hat, or is it different?
It's more like a pilgrim hat. So it's more like a colonial pilgrim hat. And I've heard fedora. I've seen like the big brim hats. I've seen all various iterations of it.
Yeah, I've heard some people say he has like a bowler hat, like what you would have saw of like the 007 villain. I've heard multiple variations as well.
Well, and also someone just said he plays off fears. So what was happening is I was giving him my energy. So when I started, when I saw him, I was so afraid of him, and he was almost like feeding off my energy and my fear. And when I started not giving him my fear, I don't see him anymore. So I do feel like that he does play off fears. He feeds off fears.
So something that I like to say a lot, I don't know if this is ever used or not, but something I like to say, do you feel like it could be an energy leech?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I just said. Yeah. So it's an energy vampire. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
So
a good way to word it.
it's feeding off of my fear. And if I don't give him fear, then he will not keep coming back for more. You know, we
That's
actually, yeah, when I did it, I investigated, actually had him come into an investigation with Danny and Lauren Perez. We were at the Hawthorne Hotel.
I love the
And
Perez's.
yeah, amazing people. This was during COVID, actually, and so I was under during doing the Estes method. That the man with the hat walks into the room. You can literally hear him. The door open. Something walked into the room, and Danny and Lauren have it on tape. You know, you can hear him walk in. The door opens, and then it closes. But so the person that was conducting the interview, Estes method remotely, actually, she said, what do you want from Sam? And the thing said clearly energy. I want his energy. So it definitely is an energy vampire.
Interesting. So once again, switching gears, I'm going to kind of formulate back to not necessarily the Bridgewater Triangle, but the Bridgewater Triangle area, because I believe the bottom right corner of the Bridgewater Triangle just about falls on Fall River. So you have ties to Fall River. You have ties to Lizzy Borden.
I do, yeah.
And you did a show called The Curse of Lizzy Borden.
I did with Dave Schrader and Chris Fleming, and I'm actually writing a book on that right now. So it's called the Lizzy Borden's Family Murders, and that's something that is near and dear to my heart because I'm related to Lizzy Borden through Sarah Earle, who is her great grandmother.
So can I ask you? I saw the documentary, and that's why I was sticking in my head in the pre-show. Well, I was like, I could have swore I had the book, The Curse of Lizzy Borden, and couldn't remember it was a freaking show, not a book. But
yeah.
But I was like, I know I've heard this, so I did watch the documentary, and I saw, you got emotionally involved, like really emotionally. Was there at any point in time during that, I guess you could say, filming, that you were just at that point where you were like, yeah, this is a little bit too much for me?
Well, let me take you back. So it was during COVID when we filmed this. So there was a lot of emotion already. And I was not out as a medium. So I was sort of like, I was known for being a historian. So the idea of going on a show as a medium was very terrifying for me. Like, it was sort of like, I'm kind of coming out of the crystal closet, if you will. So
that's a great way to word it.
Like that.
Yeah, and so I was like, okay, I'm going to be on the show. They actually hired me to not be a clairvoyant. They hired me to be a historian and a family member that was related to the Lizzy Borden family. And so I came on. I got a call from a fellow medium, and never do this, by the way. She said, "You're about to be on a television show. You are going to be in a black SUV. You're going to drive down I-95, and you're going to be in a fatal car accident." And I'm like, wow. Are you kidding me? And I get a call 2 hours later, like, hey, there's a TV show happening, and it's involving Lizzy Borden with Dave. They didn't tell me who I was working with. So I'm like, I'm about to die, and so
right.
This is about 2 weeks before the show was filmed. I get a call from the producer, and I'm like, listen, I need to take an Uber, and no black SUVs, to Fall River.
Fair.
So I basically try to, avoid the premonition, if you will. And, you have to go, unfortunately, go down I-95 to go from Boston to Fall River. But I did manage to get a white car to drive me down. But then I pull up in my Uber at the Lizzy Borden house in Fall River, and Dave Schrader pulls up in a black SUV, and I'm like, oh crap. So yeah, so basically, I was driving around the whole weekend in the car that the woman had the premonition of, and it didn't come true. I do think that it was a warning. It was almost like, hey, be careful, because it could have been a fatal car accident. And I will be honest with you, I was with my producer, who we almost did get into a car accident. So I do feel like that it could have prevented something that could have happened.
Sure.
And so I'm grateful for that, but I'm also, it did scare me. So so what you see on that show is me thinking I'm going to die, and the whole time, like I'm like, I'm going to give you everything I am. This is me, and I want you to know who I really am, and I really did think that. So none of it was, staged or acted. That's 100% emotion is mine, and the spirit that I was channeling.
Well, I can tell anyone out there that has not seen the documentary, The Curse of Lizzy Borden, I thoroughly enjoyed it.
I did also.
I enjoy Dave Schrader. I think Dave Schrader is an amazing human being. I think he's awesome. Your portrayal within the show as well, phenomenal. You could sense the emotion, you could feel it. Now that I know the backstory, I understand why you could feel it.
Yeah, you really could.
That definitely would have been one of those situations where I'm like, I'm not sure if I'm going to go and do this for me. I'm like, no, I'm good.
That show was me fighting for my family. Like that, like everything I was doing, I was fighting for my family and their spirit and their reputation, and I gave it my all. And so it's like that's what that was,
And I applaud you, sir, because it was amazing.
Thank you.
It really was. You could tell you put a lot into it. Yeah.
No, it was awesome. And anyone out there who's not seen that documentary, I highly recommend you go watch it. So you've also been on multiple other TV shows as well. You have A Haunting, which Discovery Channel's A Haunting is one of the shows that got me into the paranormal. I love A Haunting. I know that sometimes they take liberties with details and kind of formulate it into their own thing because, well, that's TV, right? But you've also been on Most Terrifying Places, right?
Yeah, just to add to A Haunting, I was also a producer on A Haunting too. So
you were.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah. Nice.
I didn't know that.
I was on the season 10, and I was actually on the 100th episode. And so were there liberties taken to a certain degree, but truthfully, the heart of the story was true. It really was. I mean, there were some things that, for example, so there's one scene in my episode where Joni Mahan, who did save my life, she basically, in the show, she's like knocking on my door, like, Sam, and she actually never knocked on my door. She actually messaged me via Facebook Messenger. So it was, she did an intervention, but she didn't come to my home. Like that was the only, that was the difference,
Yeah. When I say liberties as far as filming, I mean like minor details that if you weren't physically there, you wouldn't know it was any different.
Right. And so so Joni did save my life. She did say, Sam, you need help. She called a shaman came in, did a removal, and that's true. But she didn't come to my home and knock on my door and like, Sam, like you have an attachment, like that kind of thing. I can
tell you right now, if someone comes to my home, knocks on my door and says, hey, Nate, you got an attachment, I'm going to say, hey, you're effing weird, and just slam the door in their face.
Well in the show, it's funny because they recreated it, the supposed interaction. And I'm like, and she's like, Sam, and if you know Joni, she's super laid back, so she would never be like that. But in the show, she was like super hyper, and she was like knocking on my door. Anyway, so she's like, Sam, I think you have an attachment. Something's wrong. And I'm like, Joni, nothing is wrong. And like, I look like demonic, like in the recreation. And it's like, it was scary. Actually scared me watching that, like the recreation. So it works.
It works.
I'm not going to lie. I almost thought you were trying to say that in an Arnold Schwarzenegger voice there.
Oh, no. I can't.
That was awesome.
Yeah. But the thing is, like that did happen because I was going in and out of consciousness, but just not in person.
So out of all the projects you've done film wise, you got the Curse of Lizzy Borden, you got A Haunting, you've been on a Fright Club. So out of all these different shows and stuff that you have done, has there ever been one that you would deem your favorite that you've done?
Well, I mean, we talked about Curse of Lizzy Borden. I think strongly there, and you mentioned Dave Schrader and Chris Fleming. We were in talks in doing a follow-up after filming Curse of Lizzy Borden. There's a lot more to the story. So it's not just Lizzy Borden, but there's also other family members that are tied to Lizzy Borden and to me that I'm currently writing about. So I'm not just writing about the Borden murders, which is something that's been written over and over again. So I would say Curse of Lizzy Borden, and I really would love to do a follow-up this year. It's time. It's time to do a follow-up because we've had so much happen after that show and so much that happened right before the show. And I do feel like that there's more material and there's more spirits to be, to help in the afterlife. I mean, like I channeled Eliza, and that story to me, that's the woman that actually killed her 2 children at Miss Lizzie's Coffee, which is that's Miss Lizzie's Coffee is the location that it is now. But back in the 1800s, it was it was a house. So and that's where Eliza Borden, that's where she lived, that's where she killed her children. And that story should still be revisited. Sarah Maria Cornell, another family member, was murdered by Reverend Ephraim Avery. And she was a mill girl, and she's also tied to our family. We also have Eileen Warnos that is tied to our family. She was a serial killer in Florida.
She was, absolutely.
Also, Marilyn Monroe is a family member, and that's been found out recently.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very.
That is. I'm sorry, guys, if you keep reaching to my screen and doing this. I forgot to turn my notifications off, so I'm blocking out my own screen. But so Sam, you have penned 20 books. I have 12 of them. Almost all of them are signed. Matter of fact, just be prepared for a signing warning when I see you next, because I'm bringing every single one I don't have signed. But
he's gonna be like, I'm running.
I'm surprised I didn't sign Ghost of Salem because I remember signing Wicked Salem. So you did. Yeah, I did sign that one. I remember that.
You did. That's actually right here.
Yeah.
I love that book. It is amazing. Ghost Riders was also awesome.
Thank you.
I love that one. Haunted Hotels of New England has given me some spots that I definitely want to go and book some hotel rooms in. So I love your style of writing. I love what you do. And so there, I had a question there and I got off on a pig trail. But so let me tell you, you, for me, because you did all the historical tours around Salem, right? Would you consider yourself, as far as an author, would you also consider yourself kind of a historian?
Absolutely. I mean, I think that when it comes to paranormal history, I would say paranormal journalist is probably the right.
I love that term.
Yeah, and so I feel like that. I definitely know the ghost history in Salem. I think that my history of the Salem witch trials is expert level, but I also feel like that there are people that I would go to for specifics about the Salem witch trials. But I do feel like that I am a historian, but I think paranormal journalist would be more accurate for what I do. And I was actually I was a journalist for 20 years before I wrote books. So I do approach my writing like a journalist. And so
you kind of have that natural flow.
Yeah, natural flow. I'm a big immersion journalist. So my story is about me experiencing it and telling that story through my writing. So you're kind of going on the journey with me while I'm when I write my books.
No, and it works. It works. Can I ask you, do you think the Witch City Mall bathrooms are haunted?
I think that it's the most terrifying bathroom in the world. Do not go into the Witch City Mall bathrooms at any time of the year. But I've actually so just to confess, I have had to go there. But there's so few bathrooms, and it's horrifying. So yes, I do think it's haunted.
Yeah, no, I have no doubt that Gwen, when you see Salem and you go into that bathroom at the West City Mall, you'll understand why I asked that question.
I have a question about Salem, if you don't mind me asking, Sam.
Oh, sure.
I've only been there one time, and that was for when we were there. We saw you guys. We were right near you. We spoke and all that good stuff. But when I go back as a tourist, where should I go? Like the top 2 things. Where should I go?
Great question.
Legit. Yeah.
So definitely the House of Seven Gables. Like that's where Nate got my book, I think.
Yep.
So I would do the non-touristy stuff. And so I would recommend also going to there. So there is a memorial. So the spot where the actual victims were hanged in 1692. It's called Proctor's Ledge. And
Yes.
back when I wrote Ghost to Salem, that was not public where that was. And so I would say Proctor's Ledge. It's behind a Walgreens of all places, but it's a lovely memorial honoring the victims, and that's where they were executed, and that's where they were also likely buried, because when they were cut off from the trees, if they were lucky, they were given a proper burial. But most of them were cut off and just dropped into the rock, into the ground, and so.
Wow.
So I would say go to Proctor's Ledge, House of Seven Gables. I would also do the touristy stuff too. Like I would do the Witch Museum. They do a recreation of the witch trials. If you just want to know the basics,
I went there. That's the one place I got to go. We
ran out of time. And I recommend it because it's definitely cheesy, but cheesy fun. You know, like
I love how Gwen said that was the one place she got to go. Last I recollected, we got to investigate the Satanic Temple.
But that was a little different because it was with a group.
Still, we got to visit. No, I love the Yeo candy store.
The Yeo candy store. Okay.
I love me some candy.
Yes, the Yeo candy store is actually close to the House of Seven Gables, so you can visit both.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's very close walking proximity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then if you visit at the right time of year, there's also a clipper ship that they park in the harbor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's called the Friendship. So I think the whole like Derby, so the whole like the wharf area, Salem Harbor, I would recommend that area because it's beautiful. There's a lot of history. There's a lot of ghost lore from that area, a lot of pirate stories and non-witch related stories. So I love that area. A lot of ghost cats in the area. Oh, another place too that I would recommend is called Bunghole Liquors.
Yes, the Bunghole.
And it's right in that area on Derby Street, and it's just a great photo. It's like, hey, I went to the bunghole. You
know what? I agree with Sam. The first time I ever went to Salem, because I knew the Bunghole Liquors, I know that their basement is rumored to be extremely haunted. There's certain employees that don't even go down to the basement.
That's in my book. I was the first to write about that because no one else knew about it until I wrote about it. But yeah, the basement was an old. It's an old. Like they would have they would do like a funeral home, so that they would actually take dead bodies and do not cremations, but they would actually get the bodies ready for burial.
Right.
No, my plan was I was going to go in there and buy me a bottle of rum, and then the line was like half a block down the street.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, you know what? I'm not going in there. I'm just going to snap a photo, share it on Facebook, and say, hey, look, I found the bunghole. And that's what I did. And you know what? It's funny, no matter how you word it.
It is.
Exactly.
But if you go by the historical factor, for those of you out who don't know, we're not talking dirty. The bunghole is actually the hole that they put the cork in for a rum barrel. So.
Sure. No kidding.
Yeah, sure.
Sounds like a good story, right? Yeah.
Look, y'all take it however you want. We don't care. But so Sam, can I ask you, out of the 20 books you've written, and I know you got number 21 coming up. Mm-hmm. Is there a favorite book of your own that you've written?
I mean, people ask me that, and it's like it's so hard. Ghost of Salem is my baby. Like that is my bestseller. I will say the second one that every word in that book I love is Ghost of Sleepy Hollow, and that's the Headless Horseman. That one came out last year, and I'm hoping that will be my next Ghost of Salem. I think that I'm known for Salem, and it's taken years to kind of build up that reputation. And I do feel like Ghost of Sleepy Hollow is just as good and just as fun of a read. And you may not have that one yet, Nate, but I hope that you get it because it's the one that just came out.
I will get it at the next event that I see you at. I can promise you that. Because
I probably didn't have them in Salem. Yeah, I probably ran out of them.
Yeah, I think when I went over there, you were because you had one, I think, and I ended up opting out for a different book, and I don't remember which one it was. Oh, Anyways, I don't remember which one it was.
Oh, you got
But you
Haunted
had-
Travels because you got the Haunted
Yes,
Travels book.
yes, this one.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna plug your shit real quick if you're okay with
Okay,
it.
that's cool. Yay.
So, Ghost of Salem,
Yes.
absolutely amazing. 13 Most Haunted. This one is the cemeteries in Massachusetts.
And that's a hard copy to find. Like that's one of the books that I rarely have out publicly, and I did have it when I saw you that time. So
Yes,
it's good that you have that book.
Amazing book. And then we have 13 Most Haunted Hotels of New England. Great book as well. And now we have Haunted Boston Harbor. And I actually have a hard copy of this one. I have a hardcover.
Ooh.
And that's a forgotten book too. A lot of people don't remember that book, but that's a good book.
That's a good read. I loved it. Like, let me tell you, every single book that I have on my shelf, besides maybe 6 so far, maybe 8 because I've added to it, I've read. I love all of these. Ghost of Cambridge.
Oh, good. Yeah, that's my second book. Yeah, that's good that you have that.
Love this book. And you have Ghost of Boston.
That's my first
Haunts
book.
of the Hub. Another great book.
That's another baby of mine too. Like that was my first child, you know.
Yes. And Ghost of Colonial Concord Inn.
Oh, Conquer's Colonial Inn. That one. So Jeremy Cotter just popped up. He's actually in that book because Jeremy and I are really good friends too, and so he actually visited me because I worked the overnight shift at Concord's Colonial Inn, and he came in one morning, and there was a mystery of a woman spirit that kept coming up to me, and Jeremy and I kind of investigated to see who that woman was, and that's in the finale of the book. So Jeremy's actually in that book.
Yes, I knew
He's
that.
got a show coming next week.
I'm going to be on it, I think.
I know.
I just have to remember that Jeremy was in the book because if he's mentioned, I want him to sign it along with your signature.
Yeah, absolutely, because he deserves it. Because Jeremy and I work really, really well together. We really do.
I love Jeremy. I've been helping him out a little bit, and I'm actually going to start showing him how to make intro videos like I do for his podcast.
Oh, awesome! He's a good guy.
I want his show to succeed.
Yes, I do too. He's so excited, Sam. He's so excited. It's great. I can't wait.
Nervous but excited. But you know what? Nerves are to be expected if you're just starting out on a new process.
Well, I'll tell you guys what I told him, and I tell any of my podcasters, and we got lots now, like lots and lots. So he's one of my favorite ones coming. Yeah, he said he thinks he's my favorite, Sam. He thinks he is actually, because we have a banter about us. But Jeremy, I told him, I said, imagine that me and you are sitting somewhere having a conversation, and then you have a guest come in, and they're joining us. Don't think about whoever's watching or whatever, and he's gonna do great. He's excited, he's ready, he has booked out for a while.
So I'm gonna save this one for last because I'm really curious about this, and I know we've got about 5 minutes left. So we have Haunted Hotels of New England.
Yeah, and that one. So I work at hotels. So tonight I'm taking off because I'm sick. But I normally work the overnight shift, and I get the best stories from the overnight shift. But I also write my books during the overnight shift. So when I write my books on haunted hotels, I actually work at some of those hotels.
Well, Sam, if you hear any good stories about certain rooms, hook a brother up, man. Let me know. I want to come stay there.
I mean, I currently work at a haunted hotel. I can't say publicly because I don't want people to kind of
I don't want you to. No.
Yeah, but I'm getting good stuff. Let's just put it that way.
Well, if it's a certain room, hook a brother up, man. Let me know so I can come and book it.
Hook a sister up. Jeez, when I come to visit.
Not important. She's not important.
Do you like to stay at haunted hotels? I don't.
Yes.
I mean,
I do.
Okay, I don't. I like to sleep in a non-haunted soft bed that that doesn't have a ghost. Although I always get put in the most haunted room. I always do. Yeah, it always happens.
They attract you to them, is what it is.
Yeah.
So next book we got Wicked Salem.
Oh yes,
this is so great.
So Ghost of Salem is to me like my baby. That's the one that I kind of go there. Like it's a lot longer. There's more bulk to it. and it's more freeform. So I feel like that there's more information. So if you're a diehard Salemite, like if you like love Salem, then read Wicked Salem. So start with Ghost of Salem and then go to Wicked Salem, because
I agree.
It's a deep dive, basically.
I agree 100%. Those are probably two of my favorite books that I've read by yours thus far.
Thank you.
I love them all, but those two are amazing. And along with this one, Ghost Riders.
I love that you have that book, because Ghost Riders to me, and if anyone has that book, go to Amazon and give me a review, because
I will.
Yeah, because I love that book too, and I feel like that it's kind of getting
it's awesome.
That it's getting a bum rap, because you probably know this because you're an author too, Nate. Like, you'll have one person give you like a negative review, and it's like, did you even read the book? Like, did you even read it? Yeah.
I got one book published, brother. I'm not an author. I got one book. When I have three, you can call me an author.
He does. Have you seen his book yet, Sam?
I have. Yes, I have. And I'm really proud of. I'm proud of you for writing a book. That's great.
So am I.
I will go and give you a review on this because I thoroughly enjoyed this book. I think it was awesome. And then we have Haunted Travels Anthology Volume 1.
And that is a lovely collaboration of multiple writers that submit stories. I have a group called Ghost Writers. The book turned into Ghost Writers, the writing workshop group. So I have a group of students that I work with, and they came up with the idea of us together to do an anthology. So we get stories from all over the country, and Nathaniel actually submitted a story for Volume 2, and that should be coming out this year.
Yeah, and I know there's no guarantee it will be selected, because I'm sure you have a very selective committee. So
we have a committee, but you have a good shot.
I like it. And then here's the odd one for me, the oddball out. I love this book, and I will definitely go on Amazon and give you a review for this. I'm so horrible at giving reviews on Amazon. I'm not going to lie. I'm horrible at it. But every single book that I have of yours, I will be sure to go and give a review on. I promise you that. I love this book, Fueled by Fear.
Yeah, so that's the one. So we were talking about the parasitic entity and the Hat Man and all that. That's what that is. That book is about me I did my year of fear, and I went to locations that terrified me, and I learned that those darker entities were feeding off my fear. So I stopped giving them my fear, and it works. It actually works when you go in and you kind of like turn off your emotions and you don't give them what they want, then they will leave you alone. Then you see other people get affected, and that's. I mean, my role has switched from being the attacked to the wise person that helps my friends. You know what I mean?
Right. So anyone out there watching, if you've never purchased any of his books, well, for one, go and purchase them all, because they're all awesome from what I've read. But definitely Ghost of Salem, definitely Wicked Salem, and Fueled by Fear is probably by far my favorite.
I'm so glad that you said that, because like that really it is the oddball. It's not the normal book. It's more about me, the journey of becoming who I am now. And sort of like working through stuff that was. I mean, I was getting scratched, pushed, bit. It was like I was traumatized, and now I'm in control, and it was about me taking control of my abilities as a medium, and also helping other people. I have a group called Spirit Squad, and some of my Spirit Squad members are on tonight. Like Candy Candy Fetters is a member of Spirit Squad, and
love Candy.
Having gone through what I've gone through, I'm able to take those experiences and mentor other people in the community. Danny and Lauren Perez are part of Spirit Squad, so I have a big group of people that I work with, and I wouldn't be where I'm at without having those experiences. So I'm grateful for them, but I also think that some of them were terrifying. It was a pretty scary journey, to be honest with you. So
that's fair. So
I hope I can give back what was given to me.
Right. So typically I end my podcast off with 3 certain questions, but I do have one follow-up after that, just because I want you to be able to push your stuff. So before I ask my questions, where can people find your books? Where can people find you?
Mm-hmm.
So go to sambaltrusis.com. I pretty much list all my upcoming events. This coming up year, I really tried my best not to overbook myself because last year I was booked every weekend. So this year,
sucks.
Yeah, and this year I'm still booked. Oh, by the way, some breaking news tonight. So there's a big event in Atlanta called Dragon Con, and it's like thousands of people go to Dragon Con. So I just found out today that I was asked back to Dragon Con. So yeah,
congratulations! That's a big deal.
That's a big deal. Yeah, it really is. And so Dragon Con, I'm also producing Mass Paracon that's coming up October 7th to the 4th. So there's been kind of some issues with the location's Taunton, which is right in the middle of the Bridgewater Triangle. The hotel that's attached to the conference center is not going to be ready. So I'm about to announce that there are other hotels that are going to be the host hotels, but we are having the event at the event in Taunton. And Candy, by the way, is one of my Spirit Squad members, and she's going to be one of the ambassadors at Mass Paracon. So she'll help you with booking the right hotel, and we have several hotels lined up for people to stay at, but also Taunton Conference Center is where the event's going to be held.
Nice. I like it. So your website is sambaltrusis.com. Obviously people can go purchase your books on Amazon as well. And if you purchase his books, do leave him a review. I'm gonna go and do that actually after we get off the show because I'm horrible at it. But so Sam, I typically end my podcast with 3 certain questions. Number 1, you've been to a lot of haunted places in your travels. Is there a place that you would go to if money was not an option that you've never been to, your bucket list? Where would you go?
So there's one location that I always put on my bucket list, and I have actually been there, but on the outside of it is the Queen Mary in California.
Oh, nice.
And so, I mean, so we were in California last year, right? Like for that, there was an event in California. I don't know, were you there? I forget if you were there, but I was at an event in California. But I was in California last year, and so I was really close. Oh, yeah, so Tom was supposed to be there, but he wasn't there. But anyway, so Queen Mary in California, and that location is something that I've gone to on the outside, but haven't gone to on the inside and investigated paranormally. So I would love to investigate that. Also, so we went by Alcatraz, but we didn't go inside Alcatraz. So that's something that I would like to do. Oh, we were at Broadhead Manor together. That's where we were.
We were at Broadhead.
I was like, we were together somewhere.
No, it was Broadhead, yes. So
and that's a great location too. That I love Broadhead Manor.
Oh, I love Broadhead.
Yeah, me too.
I'm actually returning in June, so I love Broadhead. But so we're gonna go with the RMS Queen Mary because I'm still super jealous that my daughter got to see Alcatraz before I did. So we're gonna go with the RMS Queen Mary. We got the Queen Mary. You can bring one person with you. They do not have to be involved in the paranormal whatsoever, and they could be alive or dead. Who are you bringing with you to investigate the RMS Queen Mary?
All right, so my friend Andy, we were best friends for many years. He's my skeptic friend. He writes about fairies, and he's British, and so I would bring Andy. And I know that sounds cheesy, but we have so much fun together. And he's kind of skeptical. So it's kind of like I would actually, I know I could choose from anybody, and I choose my friend Andy, but that's who I choose.
I don't find that cheesy at all, because you guys got the repertoire, you got the friendship, right, and you got the skeptical side of it as well.
Yeah.
So I love that decision. So we have the RMS Queen Mary, we got your friend Andy. You can choose one piece of equipment, and your abilities aside, they do not count. What piece of equipment are you bringing with you, and why?
All right, so I don't know that the Queen Mary is by water, but I love my dowsing rods. So I would bring my dowsing rods because I really, they're sort of like my my go-to when it comes to validation, and I just love having them. When I filmed A House in Between Two, they were like, you can't use your dowsing rods, and I was so lost when I filmed that show because I'm like, I need my dowsing rods, for validation. So it's almost like a crutch for me, but I love my dowsing rods.
Let me tell you something. I own a set of dowsing rods, and all they do is swing back and smack me in the face.
Well, yeah, like that. You haven't found the right ones, Nathaniel. So like, I think that, yeah, like they're like my wand. So this is like, I'm like Harry Potter, and this is my Harry Potter's wand.
It's like I instantly set up and I make sure my hands are still, and I set them up, and they swing back and poof. It's like
and same with my students at Spirit Squad. Some of them are not dowsing rod people, and truthfully, well, you have to realize dowsing rods are not the ghost are moving the rods. It's you tapping into your abilities and using them, like using your abilities to having validation to what you're picking up with your abilities. So
that's correct. And I think that's a very much overlooked aspect.
Yeah.
But Sam, I'm not going to hold you too much longer because I know you're sick.
Thank you.
I thank you so much for coming on the show. If you wouldn't mind hanging out in the background for like 5 minutes, I got a typical follow-up question that I ask after every show, and I got to just close the show out. But I thank you so much for coming on the show, considering you're not feeling well. And I appreciate you more than you know.
Oh, thank you so much, guys. I'm really, really grateful, and also super grateful that you have Jeremy Cotter coming up on your network, and
Radicals are coming too.
Radicals, and these are all my friends are on this network. So like, so we have all these great people coming up, and I can't wait to keep watching.
That is awesome. But so Sam, if you wouldn't mind, thank you so much for coming on the show. Sam. If you wouldn't mind, hang out for like 5 minutes, and we'll conclude this out, and I will see you in a few.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
So, I think that was an amazing show.
I know. I love Sam. Sam will have to tell you about his ride with us. So that's kind of cute.
Oh, I'd be curious to hear about that. I mean, maybe not tonight because they switched my schedule at work. I now clock in at 6:30 instead of 7, so I got to be there a half an hour earlier.
Well, I'm glad we moved the showtime then. You guys, this is the permanent showtime now.
Yes, this
8
is.
o'clock on Wednesdays. Yeah, so those of you are a little confused.
Like I said, with the logistics and everything, and I know that we've had to reschedule multiple times.
Yep.
I wasn't worried about it because I knew once I got him on the show,
it
was going to be awesome. Because I love history, Sam loves history, and so it just works.
It does.
And I've never had a bad repertoire with Sam as far as I'm aware of, as far as conversation-wise. So, matter of fact, I think the first time I met him, we were the only two people that were smokers at the Salem Paragon. That's actually how we started talking. So there's that. But no, like that was a great show.
Yes.
I enjoyed it thoroughly, and I thank Sam so much, considering the fact that he is not feeling well, to come on and still kind of push through what he's going through to do the show.
Oh, he was you wouldn't have known he was sick.
I didn't know he was. I wouldn't have known had he not told me.
No, never would have known. But I got to say this, I'm lucky because he's going to be on some of our other shows and I get to talk to him again. So nice. But I do have one thing to say, if you don't mind. You guys, I know you heard me say we got the Radicals coming, Danny and Lauren Perez. We got Jeremy Cotter coming next week.
You didn't catch that, did you?
But yes, I did. Get you. But we have a lot of people coming. So you know what? Check the whole channel out, the network. Don't just check one show out. We appreciate it. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And next week, when Jeremy Cotter unveils his Twisted Tales podcast, his first guest is none other than me.
Yeah, it is.
So it's going to be an amazing conversation. You're not going to want to miss out on it. But guys, I'm doing a pre-record this week, so I will not be here live next Wednesday. But either way, next Wednesday, even if I can't respond to your comments, I'll see you then. Same spooky network, same spooky time, same spooky channel.
Good night.